Eternal existence of avatars and Sadgurus. Question. It is said that avatars and Sadgurus exist eternally. How is this possible? How can a physical body sustain after realization? Is dropping of the body of the avatars or Sadgurus, perfect masters, same as the death of advanced yogis? How can a God-realized, truth-realized individual exist eternally? How can a limited individuality be transmuted into unlimited divine individuality? What for? The consciousness needs evolution and involution. What role does an individual, ego, I, soul plays in this journey? Why should ego-mind die? What happens when the ego-mind dies? Define death, in terms of consciousness. What happens when separateness vanishes? What happens to the individuality when self-realization or God-realization happens? Answer, extracted from Meher Baba's literature, which is a copyright of Avatar Meher Baba. Perpetual Public Charitable Trust, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, India. The alternating links of the continuous chain of individual existence consist of incarnate and discarnate lives, forged from periods of birth to death and death to birth. Only in God realization can life be freed from the shackles of limited individuality. Only in God realization does the tenacious chain of recurrent incarnations reach final fulfillment and termination. It is a state of eternal existence, free from birth or death. It is true immortality or deathlessness, by virtue of the fact that it is above the birth and death of the body. True immortality is not the survival of the limited individual in the period following the death of the physical body. It is true that the ego-mind persists, unscathed through death, but the individual cannot and does not, thereupon, attain to final freedom from birth and death. Survival should not be confused with deathlessness, which is true immortality. The chain of alternating incarnate and discarnate life is only a survival of consciousness plus ignorance, and ignorance makes true life impossible. Life in ignorance is the very negation of existence in truth. It is so basic a curtailment of true existence that, when judged by the standard of the true existence in eternity, it had best be termed a continuous death. Only in realization is consciousness emancipated from the tyranny of this continuous death, which nullifies the true life in eternity. And only in liberation can consciousness arrive at that true immortality which lies beyond all curtailment and obscurity. The individual who had achieved realization of the truth is initiated into eternal and unlimited life, for the limiting ego-mind, with all its attendant sanskaras, has undergone a death that is final. In this process, the limited individuality is shed and the soul is invested with unlimited divine individuality. This may be termed a journey of the soul, but it is by no means the first journey. The first journey consisted in the evolving of consciousness through the evolutionary process, starting in the most rudimentary subgaseous forms, and ending in the attainment of full consciousness in the human form. This journey extends from initial attainment of consciousness by the individual soul to birth of limited human individuality, in which full consciousness has been achieved, but a consciousness still clouded and ridden with sanskaras. The second journey of the soul consists in the involution of the now fully evolved consciousness through the removal of the clouds of sanskaras. The removal requires the effort of numberless lifetimes, and lasts from the birth of limited human individuality to its termination in the unlimited truth. This second journey brings the individual to the unlimited and untrammeled state of infinite existence or immortality. The terminus of this journey is known in Sufi literature as Fanafila, the final annihilation of the limited ego in the conscious state of God. At the end of the first journey, that the soul becomes conscious of Maya, or the illusion of duality. This domain of Maya has only illusory existence. The entire universe thus in reality is only a zero, but this zero exists for the fully evolved consciousness of the individual human being. Maya gives to the life of the individual all the meaning that it has, and the imaginary universe of Maya continues to have a semblance of reality and significance until the wayfarer arrives at the terminus of the second journey, or Phanafila. In the state of Phanafila, the universe disappears and has neither existence nor value. This is the true and final terminus point of the great journey. It is reached when the ego mind has met its total and final death, from which no resurrection is possible. Then only God exists as He supreme and sole reality, and the universe has become a true zero without existence even in imagination. At this terminus, the individual's consciousness is endowed with divine individuality and he is known as Majubi Kamil. At the time of the extinction of the ego mind, or limited individuality, and the conscious union of the soul and the oversoul, consciousness is withdrawn completely from the physical, subtle, and mental bodies, and these are usually dropped within 4 days. When the Majub's body, which for him does not exist, does not actually drop, it is sustained by the devotees or lovers, who have been attached to him through that body. When the Majub was a wayfarer during the second journey, he may have had several friends who loved him and expected spiritual guidance from him. The sanskaric links thus formed by such friends to the physical body of the wayfarer, now cause the body of the Majub to go on living, even though he is no longer linked in any way with it. The bhaktas or devotees of the Majub provide sustenance for his physical body, which keeps on functioning automatically, and by their link with it the devotees derive much spiritual benefit. But all this activity of the body is completely automatic, and involves a no conscious interest on the part of the Majub. After the purpose of the sanskaric link formed by the bhaktas to the physical form of the Majub has been fulfilled, the body of the Majub ceases to function and is dropped. When the body of one who has arrived at unlimited truth is automatically dropped at the end of 4 days or is dropped after its link to the devotees has been fulfilled, the event can be properly termed neither death nor a journey. It cannot be said to be death, because at the time the body is dropped, it has no connection with the consciousness of the person who was once attached to it. The link with the soul has already been snapped and the body continues only on the universal flow of divine benevolence. Death is a severance of the connection between consciousness and the physical body, and since in the 2 cases just described the body retains no connection with consciousness, they are not properly cases of death. Nor is it at all suitable to call such deaths journeys of the consciousness, for the dropping of the physical body makes no difference to the consciousness that was once attached to it. With or without the body, consciousness remains what it had become upon the complete vanishing of separative individuality, abidingly illumined and infinitely absorbed in truth. If, as occurs in rare cases, truth-realized consciousness returns to normal consciousness of the body and of the universe, without diminution or curtailment of realization, this event is properly described as the third journey. This third journey is undertaken only by the perfect masters, Sadgurus, Kutub, who upon returning to consciousness of body and universe, establish their divine and unlimited individuality in the apparent world of duality. This state of affirmation of unbounded truth in and through the universe of Maya is known in Sufi terminology as Bakabila, or abiding simultaneously in God and in illusion. The apparent universe now has existence for the divine individuality, but at this terminus of the third journey, the universe is realized as being nothing and having absolutely no value. The only thing that has real value is God, and the Sadguru sees that the entire universe has no reality in itself and exists only as the apparent manifestation of God. If zeros are placed after the number 1, example 100,000, each zero assumes value, not because it has value in itself, but because it is placed after the number 1. In the Maya-ridden state, the relative status of the zeros and the number 1 are not realized. The two are confused together so that the zeros which constitute the physical universe are taken to have both existence and value in themselves. In the Phanafila state of truth absorption, all the zeros of the entire universe that had been added onto the number 1 are cut out. Only the 1 exists. In the Bhaka or Sadguru state of truth affirmation in the universe, all the zeros of the universe reappear. They are placed, from a mathematical standpoint, before the number 1, example 000001. In this manner of reinstatement, the zeros have existence but no value, regardless of how many there are. In this last case, any increase in the number of zeros neither adds numerical value nor alters in any way the value of the number 1. The value neither increases nor decreases. A perfect master can perform any miracle. This does not involve any breaking of the law, because he is beyond the domain of Maya and its laws. Among those who enjoy the Sadguru state, the avatar has unique consciousness. The Sadguru experiences the state of I am God, and God is everything, while the avatar experiences the state of I am God, and I am everything. Man as God, that is Sadguru, sees God in everything, but God as man, that is avatar, sees what God as God sees himself in everything. In fact, the avatar not only sees himself in everything but sees himself as everything, not only as being in the many, but as being the many, in exactly the same manner that he is the one. When the avatar or the Sadguru drops his body after finishing his spiritual task in the imaginary universe of duality, he retains the God consciousness that is his continuous eternal state. This fourth and last journey of the avatar and perfect masters is the same as the second journey of the Majjhima camel. Their unlimited individualities suffer no extinction in spite of the fact that they are now removed entirely beyond the world of forms. Their individualities persist because their divine unlimited consciousness abidingly remains as the very inalienable nature of the soul, which requires no form for its locus standi. Sanskaras or the sanskaric ego mind can subsist only by attaching itself to some form, but no expressive medium of form is in any way necessary for the existence of divine consciousness. This, the very nature of the soul, is self-sustained. The dropping of the physical body by the avatar or by the Sadguru is not death, for even while he uses the body he is in no way attached to it and has no sanskaric link with it. Nor does the dropping of the body in these instances involve the usual survival of a limited individuality or ego mind, for these are simply non-existent in the Sadguru and avatar. Their dropping of the body also differs from the death of advanced yogis who may voluntarily drop their physical body after completing their work. The advanced yogis cannot discard their ego mind or limited individuality, which clings fast to them even after severance of their connection with the physical body, but the Majjhima camel, the Sadguru, and the avatar embark upon a unique and direct journey to the unbounded and indivisible ocean of divinity. Jai Meher Baba. Source: Listen Humanity. Page 111 to 115.